Hey, I came across a couple clips that I recorded that had very unique scenarios, and in this video, I'm going to give commentary on some of the decisions I make. Now, I'm not saying all these decisions I make are the correct ones, but I'd argue that there's some merit in looking at these plays to see if you can gain any extra insight into your own play. I'm going to identify a couple fundamentals that I think you should pay attention to. Let me know any feedback you might have. For this first clip, you can take away two things. First of all, you can see the advantage of high ground and an off angle, even if the guy manages to spot me in the end. Second, I wouldn't get too bold with leaving yourself exposed. Basically, you're going to see from this clip that I should have died, but the other team had really bad aim. Now, I want to prioritize the right amount of playmaking so that I give myself the advantage, but I also expected this team to be leaving the compound earlier. Take a look at the time left on the blue. For me, I think it's the ultimate surprise if you can catch them from the roof because of the way the slope works out for you, especially since it's a building you can't get to the roof of normally. These guys are coming out of their building, west. Behind the containers. So, as you can see before I started this fight, I did two things. I ended up smoking our car, and I also ended up checking the team in the compound and baiting them with a single bullet. Presumably because the team towards the circle was really bad, they also didn't shoot our wheels. The smoke to get in the car was pretty fucking cool. Now, for the fight, I ended up using an off angle like I mentioned for the first guy, and for the second guy, I ended up peeking out a bit too wide thinking he was close to the house, and basically I was just forced into an aim duel that I ended up winning.
I think they're getting shot in the back. I think they died. Where do I go? At them?
I don't know.
Got it right? HP of the car? There's no way no one's here. It's impossible.
So, for the second clip, I want to demonstrate some fundamentals for small group fighting. Basically, you always kind of want to stick close to cover, whether that's a slope or a wall, even when you're just moving. It's good because in unfortunate scenarios where you're getting shot in the side, you might be able to live with low HP, so pay attention to your surroundings even if you aren't expecting anyone. The idea with this fight was I was really desperate to knock this guy out and keep that team out since they seem to be really good from previous fights I had with them. Tossing a nade there buys me some time in terms of having his teammate try to res him, and it puts a lot of pressure on this team in particular. And if I were to sort of change things with this clip, I probably wouldn't have thrown those extra nades, since I probably would have been back inside expecting that other team already from me shooting so much in the beginning. So, in the last part of this clip, it turns into a 1v1. Now, this is some Counter-Strike 20-year-old fundamentals going on. Don't lose sight of the fucking enemy in a 1v1 when you have the advantage. I noticed that after he takes a shot with his car, he goes and hides, and at that moment, I just basically duck around the corner and swing right, and when I go to peek him, he's still expecting me at the shed for some reason. Kind of a really stupid mistake, but one that's really easy to do. Even if you're just bolting your car, I would say just, like, you know, keep a face check at least. You need to be able to tell what he's doing. It's probably really important. Even in squad fights, it's really important. So, in this clip, my teammate goes down, and at this point it turns into a 1v4. The main goal you want to achieve in playing low number situations versus a higher number is keeping pressure on the enemy team so that they stay away from you. This can be accomplished in two ways, I would say. One is knocking the enemy and then repositioning so that you can get a better sort of spot. In my case in this, I'm unable to move, so I just have to hit them pretty evenly. There's only an advantage in being able to peek all at once. At any other point, you're basically on a 1v1. That's something I really like to emphasize with my teammates because I like to say that I'm healing and that they're the only ones peeking, because at that point, if there's even two of them on the other team peeking, even though say we've knocked two of them, for example, my teammate is at the disadvantage right now. So, in this clip, you can tell I know where three of them are. I've knocked one of them and he's far and away from the fight. He's irrelevant at this point. So at this point, it's effectively a 1v3. Now, I know where the other two are and I'm doing my best to keep them away from me. They want to move up because they want to fight me all at once. Now, I had a couple angles where I could just easily fight 1v1 or even 1v2 if, for example, the left guy is hit and I just peek wider on the right guy. And you can tell I take a couple pot shots that sort of do hit. Most of them miss, and most of all, I'm constantly paranoid of the third MIA guy that's probably on my right, and it turns out he actually is because he's trying to get nades on me. The vision thing is still really big from the second clip. Knowing where the enemy is, or at least predicting where they are constantly, even in between these bandages, for example, really important in my opinion to actually be able to tell if they're coming or not. Now, one argument for the pressuring and how scared that team was playing after I sort of knocked the first guy would be that they found out I had an M249. I'd argue that the M249 really didn't make too much of a difference. Psychologically, it may have fucked them in the heads, I don't fucking know, but I'd argue that I could pull off the same exact plays with an M4 that I pulled off in this, and basically an M4 car is pretty much the standard loadout for endgame anyway. And at this point, I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and maybe I'll find some more cool clips to sort of dig through in the future.